Yes, loved it. All right, now, I love the forecast just as much.
We're just going to not talk to Jason about it.
You know, sometimes when all I have to say is something bad, I say nothing at all.
Oh, that's a good lesson.
Yeah.
Cassie, how you doing today?
Yeah, I'm good.
Good.
You know, I don't love it being 100 degrees, but I would take 100 degrees over 35 degrees any day. It is going to get pretty hot. In fact, it's going to get so hot that we have a WFA weather alert day. That is going to be for Wednesday afternoon. Now, I think every other day outside of Wednesday is going to be hot, but we're calling the Wednesday afternoon, in particular, the WFA weather alert day because that's going to be our first 100-degree day of the year. So what you need to do is just stay hydrated, limit your time outdoors, and make sure to check on the elderly and don't leave your pets outside for an extended period of time. So yes, 100 degrees is what we're expecting on Wednesday, but tomorrow, looking at a high of 96 degrees, and the record's 95 from back in 1956 on Thursday. We're only dropping down into the upper 90s, so 97 degrees. The record is 97, and that was just set back in 2022. The record on Friday is 94. We're forecasting a high of 98 degrees, and we're back in the upper 90s as we get into the weekend. So just kind of going back and looking at some of the statistics from when we could actually see the last 100-degree day, because we were talking about the earlier ones earlier in the newscast. Well, the average last 100-degree day is actually August 26th, and the latest last 100-degree day that we've ever seen was back in 1951. That was on October 3rd. But we typically see about 20 days throughout the year where we do hit at least 100 degrees. Certainly not the case today. Today's been nice and warm. This is our DFW airport camera, and temperatures made it into the low 80s and lots of sunshine to go along with it. 82 in Gainesville, 80 in Fort Worth, 79 degrees in Terrell, 81 degrees right now in Athens, and satellite and radar pretty quiet for the time being. We have those fair weather cumulus clouds popping up, but that's it. Overnight tonight, we're going to stay mostly clear and temperatures drop down into the mid-60s for a lot of us. 65 in Denton, 64 in Gainesville, 65 in Decatur, and 67 degrees overnight tonight in Corsicana. Now, tomorrow afternoon, it's going to be hot. However, in some of our western counties, we are already going to see temperatures climb into the low 100s. 102 degrees in Breckenridge, 101 in Granbury tomorrow, 99 in Mineral Wells, but 96 in Fort Worth and 96 tomorrow afternoon in Denton. When will we see some relief? Well, this week, I don't expect to see a whole lot of relief at all. We are expecting a cold front to move in eventually. That's not going to be the case tomorrow. Tuesday, this is going to be 5 o'clock, and we still have lots of sunshine. It's going to be very warm. On Wednesday, that's the day we're also expecting maybe a little bit more cloud cover, but temperatures make it to around 100 degrees with a southwest wind. Now, a cold front does come in early Thursday morning, but it's going to be a very weak cold front. It's going to come through moisture starved. There's going to be rain with it, and temperatures only drop down by a few degrees. In fact, by the time we get into Friday, it lifts back to the north, and so we're going to be back in the warm sector, and temperatures stay in the 90s with barely any rain chances around. Rain chances do return for the weekend, but overall the coverage looks to be very low. So for tonight, mostly clear. Temperatures drop down into the middle 60s, and then tomorrow afternoon, mostly sunny again. Mid-90s, though, for the highs, but it gets to 100 degrees on Wednesday. Dropping down to 97 on Thursday behind the cold front. On Friday, temperatures in the upper 90s. We're staying in the upper 90s on Saturday. Now on Sunday, we do have a 10% coverage of rain and storms. Temperatures drop down into the middle 90s. As if that were any relief. No, it's not really. But by the time we get into that second half of the 14-day, you can see on May 20th, that Tuesday, temperatures in the upper 80s. So looking at the second half of the 14-day, we do see at least a couple of days in there where temperatures are only in the upper 80s. But it looks like we're going to see temperatures in the 90s for quite some time. And there's very few chances of rain and storms. Eventually, that storming pattern should come back around. And once we can get more storm chances, better storm chances, eventually temperatures should go down. But right now, everything is just trending very hot and a little dry. Guys, back to you.